Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel for another painting tutorial. I'm Joni Young and today I'm going to show you step by step how to paint this big lantern street scene in winter. And I'm using the following colors and brushes: a 1-inch mop brush, 20 flat, 14 filbert, and a number 3 round. I have a 9x12 stretched canvas, and the colors starting off with Mars Black, Cool Luminous Orange or Neon Orange, Lemon Luminous Yellow, Cobalt Blue, and Titanium White. So the very first brush I'm going to be using is my number 20 flat brush. I'm going to get it a little bit wet, and I'm going to create a blue background, different tones or values of it. So I'm going to take some of this blue and I'm just going to make it patchy like this so we get different lighting effects for our background. We're going to create a blurry, out of focus background. And I want the main focus of this painting to be about this beautiful lamppost. I'm going to take a little bit of white and I'm going to dab this around. So to make it a nice, soft, blurry background, try to not use too thick of paint when you're applying it. I'm going to take a little bit more water and just dab this around. Making sure everything's wet and I'm able to achieve that nice blurry, soft, out of focus background. And then I'll just come down here with white. I'm going to rinse that brush out, and then right away before this can dry, you want to take a dry, soft mop brush and just go around in little circles to make it look more blurry, and get rid of any harsh brush strokes. And because it's a street scene in a town or a city, you can pull down like this, or you can pull like this, or combine both. That'll give you more of sort of a block building street type of feel, but keeping it out of focus at the same time. Or just go around in little circles too. Okay, so once we have a nice soft blended look, it's patchy, different shades, I'm going to just go in to a little bit more blue and a little bit of black, and I'm going to make this darker on the top. Now if your brush is starting to lose its shape, which I think mine is, it'll make it a little bit harder to blend, so it's actually leaving streaks. So I'm gonna put that away, wash it, and go in for a dry and clean mop brush and get back that soft background. So I'm gonna take a little bit more blue. There's a tiny bit of black in here. Now I chose Cobalt Blue because it's a lovely complementary color with peach, yellows. So we just want to make it darker here at the top. In order for our lights to really show up and we get that right lighting, nighttime, picture that going on right now in your town or your city. People going out at night and doing their Christmas shopping or last minute Christmas shopping. I know I need to do a little bit myself. Okay, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more here at the top, and then we're gonna dry this off. So we just wanna make sure that we're keeping it still patchy like, so we have different tones going on. So we've got some dark areas here and then a little bit lighter in the background further down here. So the next thing I'm going to do is dry this off, and then we'll come in with the next step. Okay, so now that it's all dry, I've got my flat brush again, and I'm going to paint some loose sort of abstract shapes for indicating some stores back there, some storefronts. Nothing too detailed. Remember, we still want it to be kind of out of focus, and just a suggestion, but our eye is really going to be drawn to this big lamp post here and a tree going down the other side. So what I'm going to do is just take a little bit of white and a little bit of yellow, a little bit of orange. Mix up our complementary color here. Take a little bit more yellow, a little bit more white. Okay, and then just going to come in on the side here and just go straight across, pull. Now you can shape in your windows just by leaving some little rectangles or squares. It's up to you. You can sketch it out first if you want, but I like that loose, more artsy feel. Just creating a feeling, a mood, rather than perfection and symmetry. It took me a long time to get to this point where I felt comfortable with crooked lines and maybe a leaning building or whatever, to realize that it still looked like a building or a street scene, or it just gave that feeling that I wanted to in the painting. And it didn't matter that it wasn't perfect, because all together everything flowed nicely. Okay, so then we can just go ahead and add a few more little lines here, just blocking in. See, by just turning your brush different ways and adding little lines, that can really quickly and easily get you that little street scene without much effort. Now I'm going to take a little bit of blue, white, and yellow and make sort of a minty shade here. And I'm just going to pull out on an angle like this for an awning. Cut into my blue, I just pull in like that. So I get a little bit just on the end of my brush like that, a thin line. And then just go underneath, add a little bit more to those little windows there. And then I'm going to turn my brush with a handle pointing up, and I'm going to go just inside and across that little storefront awning, and then lightly pull up. I'm going to wipe the excess off on a towel, and then turn my brush back this way with the handle pointing down, and I'm going to catch that little bit of blue that I had just added and pull down like that. I'm going to cut in, take a little bit more. I'm going to take a little bit of orange, a little bit of blue, there's a little bit of white in there, and pull some more little lines in this way and that way. Get a little bit of white and yellow. Dab for some little lights back here. Dab, dab, dab. Okay, and then back over to my blue and my white. Crisscross to mix and load both sides. No blobs or globs of paint. It's important that you guys see how I'm loading the brush too. I'm gonna add a little shadow on maybe the sidewalk or other side of the road here. There's just snow everywhere, giving us different tones of the blue. We're creating a soft blue violet by doing this too, along with the darker cobalt blue, and then a deeper, more of a Prussian blue by adding a little bit of black. So we've got all these different tones. And I'm just going to take a little bit of blue and black, add a bit to the windows. Maybe a line here, a line here. Far away, just little lamp posts across the street. And then little dabs like this. Pull in some white, little lines. Maybe these are cars, I don't know. We could add some little lights on. Just little dabs. Who knows? Okay, I'm gonna rinse my brush out now. And I'm gonna come at the front here with some clean white, my yellow, orange, and white here. Making a really soft, peachy tone. And I'm gonna turn my brush flat like this. And I know it's gonna be a little bit noisy, but I'm not pushing hard at all. It's just I've got a really good speaker on my camera or microphone. But I just want to create a little bit of texture here where the light's going to be reflecting down here on the snow. So a little bit more of the yellow too. You want to use a lot of white with this because we've got blue underneath, and which is darker than what we're trying to add. And you know, when you get blue and yellow together, they will turn green. And although that's not a bad color for this painting, little hints of light minty green would be fine. But I don't want that color necessarily reflecting on the snow from the lampposts. That's not the look I'm going for. I'm going for more of a warm, yellowy, peachy look. So if you have too much yellow, which I do right there over that blue, I'm just gonna pull some white over that. And then I'm just gonna come over parts of across the street here. And I'm gonna rinse my brush out. And I'm gonna soften, just softly blend that white out that's further back there. It'll be softer looking. Let's pick up a little bit more of that orange because I really don't want, and a little bit more white here because I really don't want that drying to look green, but that's like the easiest fix, right? You just counteract that from happening by adding some more white and a little bit of a warm or cool orange works. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of that peachy color again, and I'm going to add a little bit on this awning. I'm adding a slight little scoop when I do that. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is take those colors again on the corner of my brush. See, I've got a little ball of paint there, and I'm going to add little dabs for some lights that go down the road or the street down there. And then the next thing I'll be doing is taking my round brush and a little bit of softer white and making them rounder. So my round brush is a little pointy, so it's nice because I can use it for like a liner brush as well if I want, and also to make things appear rounder. But there are lots of different brushes out there that you can achieve. You don't have to have the exact same brushes I'm using. These are from, if you're curious, because I do get asked what brand of paints and brushes I'm using. This is my set of brushes I designed and collaborated with Craftimo. They ship them worldwide. Though I don't know how many are left. I'm pleased, very pleased to say this. We've just about sold out, if not, depends on when you're watching this. This is the second time releasing them, so I'm getting wonderful feedback about them, and thank you guys so much for your support and purchasing my brushes and trying them out. I'm glad you guys are enjoying them. I'm just going to come in here and add a little bit more white on the front of this awning and just pull in, even this out again with a little bit more blue and black. Okay, so now I'm going to go back over to my flat brush and I'm going to get a little bit of black on there, a little bit of orange for these lampposts that are farther away. I want them to have a bit of warmth to them because I want the black on this one here to stand out the most. So once you mix it on there, just kind of cut across so you get a nice little thin line, and then make sure my hands are dry. I've got a little bit of water on there because I'm going to be resting my pinky here to help steady my hand. This is a really good tip for you guys. And I'm going to add a little line, one that goes down a little lower. Okay, not a lot of detail. And I'll just pull a little across slightly along the base. I'm going to take a little bit more, just wiggle my brush flat and get a little line there again of paint. So barely any paint at all, see? And then I'm going to add a little line let's add one right there. And then a little wider on the bottom. Any imperfections here, like how that's a little bit too thick, I'm going to come in and add some snow. And then here, I'm going to take my little round brush, a little bit of peachy yellow, and I'm going to go inside these little balls. I'm going to add one here on the top. Probably going to cover up part of this with our tree, but I just want to have a little highlight on this line here, just in case some of it might show through. Make it nice and bright inside. And I'll add a few more dabs. We've got a little lamp post here, so I'll just add a little bit there, and then with a little bit of black and orange, just a few little lines. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit more orange this time with my white. And I'm going to add a little bit right on the bottom here, just for a little bit of an orange glow. And then a little bit over this, just here and there. And I'm gonna sweep over a little bit of light blue. Along the side. And a little line in between them that goes across for a shadow. Take a bit more of my orange and black. Bring it down a little bit lower. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is add a little dab of bright white inside these little globes. And then go around the outside, making them glowy. And all I'm doing is just softly dry brushing around the outer edges, and see how it gives that soft glowing feeling. It really helps to add to the atmosphere. It makes you feel the nighttime more, and maybe a little bit of a chill in the air. Okay, so I'm going to dry this off, and then we're going to come in with our tree. Okay, so I'm ready to start painting the tree. I'm going to use a smaller filbert brush. This is my 14. And you can use something a little smaller than this too, or a round brush, whatever you feel comfortable with. I'm going to use the round brush for smaller branches, but I'm going to use my filbert brush for the thickest parts of the tree trunk and thicker branches. So I'm just going to get a little bit of water. Just to dampen those bristles so that the brush can take the paint better and go over the canvas more smoothly. So I'm going to add the tree right here in this little area here. So I'm just going to go and add about an inch in width. A little smaller or wider is fine too. And I'm going to go just inside that. So I'm going to turn my brush this way, narrow, and I'm going to pull all the way up. We're going to take that off the canvas. And then I'm going to add some more branches. Ones that go out this way. And we're just going to load these branches with sparkling, soft, peachy, yellowy lights. I'm going to go just over the edge there, bring that over. Going to work off a little bit of the width here on that branch. It got a little too thick for my liking. And I'm going to switch over to my round brush now, so I have a little bit more control of the size of the branches that I want to add. Let's add a big one that comes right down here. And then some smaller ones. Just a lot less pressure for those smaller ones. And you can just kind of twist and wiggle if you want them to look a little bit looser. Usually these old trees have some of these wiggly branches on them, giving them some more character. I'm going to bring the tree down just a little lower. Okay, so we're going to have, just going to add another little branch right there. We're going to have the lights glowing on the tree, and that's going to make the tree, the natural color of the tree during the daylight, stand out where those lights are glowing. So I'm going to add a little bit of orange to my black and warm up part of the branches here, a little here and there. We'll also add a little lights over on this side too, and a little bit of white with some yellow, some orange, and just add a little, some skinny lines over those branches. Okay, now I'm going to come over the base here with some blue, some white, very light powdery blue, and just clean up the base of that a little bit. I'm gonna add a little line on these here and there for just a few little lines across those lamp posts for a little bit more design on them. I'm going to go over my shadow areas here a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to take, I just rinsed the excess paint on my brush, and so I could start fresh with a little bit of light blue and white. I'm just going to add very thin little layers of skiffs of snow. And now we can come in with our dabs for our lights. So I'm going to take some white and I'm going to dab around. So you can dab in rows if you want, or you can make it look like it's wrapped around the tree like this, doing a little line on a scoopy like. So see how it kind of scoops like this, but you're dabbing. Now this is a smaller canvas than what I normally paint on. I would normally like to do this type of painting on maybe like 11 by 14, even 16 by 20. But my house is running out of space, so I think this is a nice size. And if you have smaller brushes, it's actually quite a good size to work with, but I can fit this on my walls. And I can't wait. It's not even done yet, and I know I'm gonna love this hanging on my wall by the Christmas tree. So make sure you're getting that shape back on the end of your brush, so you can create these little dots for the lights. This means you'll have to reload and reshape your brush quite often. So make sure you take the time, because it'll make a big difference with how delicate and pretty the end result will be for how your lights look on your tree. Okay, I'm going to go around the base of the tree too. Now I'm going to add just a little bit more here. I'm going to pick up some orange, yellow, and white. And I'm going to dab them a little bit closer together here along the main part of the tree trunk. And then just a few up here. Now later on, once this is dry, I can go over and add a little filter, a soft filter, dry brush of the peachy yellow color. But I'm going to start working on our globe here. And I'm going to start with my flat brush, and we're going to add the lamp post itself and then the globes after. So let's take some black, tiny bit of orange, but more black. And we want our biggest globe to be right about there. So we're going to add a little dab right there. And then a little skinny line on top of that. Okay, then I'm going to come down. We're going to bring it right down here in the foreground. Leave about an inch from the bottom of the canvas. And then we're just going to pull over, make it a little thicker right there. And about 2 inches up from the base, we're going to make this portion of the lamp post along the bottom thicker. We're going to add a little bit of snow around here just to make it look more set in to the scene. And then we'll come in making this a little wider. Okay, then we're going to add a line a little bit lower, about 1/2 inch, lower and wider than this one. Make it a little thicker, like that. I'm going to go over to my round brush, and we're going to add a little bit of snow on here, a little bit of light blue. I'm going to add a little line right here, slight little arch to it. And then I'm going to go from the outside here, leave a little space, work off most of that paint, and then lightly drag over like that for a little bit of snow. And then right here as well. a little bit extra with a thin line right there. Add a little bit here, here. Push a little bit harder. Right here, and then a little bit going up. I'm going to add a little bit right here, just a little square inside of that, and then a little line, an arch right there. We're going to add a little white line just next to it, and then we're going to go down and around, paint that in. We're going to add one here that comes out slightly over where the black line is. Paint that in. And then we're going to add the other one right here. This one comes in front of that one. That one's on the other side. So decide how big you want them to be, and then try to make them all the same. Okay, then we're going to have a little line that goes across, comes down on an angle there and an angle there. I'm going to just lightly paint that in. We're going to paint it like a light peach after. And then we're going to add our big guy, our main one here on the top. I'm going to take a little bit of black, a little bit of orange, and I'm going to come over like this, slightly arch, and fill that area in. I'm going to add a little sort of dome hat or lid on the tops of these ones. Add a little bit more black to it. A little bit of white in there. And then a little bit on the black part of the post. I'm going to take some more black. And come down and add a little dab there. A little square below that white square. See, we've got that little white square in between. Just outline that one there so that it shows up a little bit better. Okay, I'm going to take some yellow, some white, and I'm going to go over the top of the globe here. Just part way though. And then white inside the rest. And a teeny tiny bit of orange just to outline the top. And then we'll paint in white, just straight, heavy-bodied white. And take a little bit of black and just catch the edge, diagonal, diagonal, and bring it up. Just sort of outline picking up a little bit of blue, white, orange. I'm going to come under that globe. Okay, now I'm going to add a little peachy glow, a little bit of white, orange, and yellow dry brush. So once you mix that paint on, you want to make sure that it's not too thick. So I'm just going to create a soft glow around here. We're going to add a little bit of this orange over top of part of the tree. And a little bit around there. I think that gives it a really nice bit of warmth. It's a balance to all the cool blue and coldness of winter in this painting. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of yellow and white and orange to the top of the snow here. A little bit around the globe for a little bit more warmth. And then back inside with some more white, using titanium white because it's the brightest. I'm going to add a little bit more warmth, a little bit more peach. Down in the front here. And just catch the base. With that lamp post. A little bit more of a glow back there. And some more little dabs for lights. Give these a little bit more of a glow. And then re-dab inside. Just gonna add a little bit more black right down in there. Okay, I'm gonna take some black, some orange, and I'm just gonna go lightly. Very, very lightly around the globe. Make it stand out just a little bit more. And then a little bit more of the orange and the black. I'm going to take just a hint of the yellow and the blue, and we're going to make it a little darker just at the top here. Straight black inside this post or lamp pole. Okay, I think I want to paint a few figures walking down here, so I'm just going to use my little brown brush. I'm going to take some orange, some black, maybe some blue, a little bit of white in there. And I think we'll have a little head right there, and then add a little diamond, or sorry, a triangle, and then an upside down triangle, and then a right side up triangle. Add an arm, just a little line that comes down like that. Make it look like she's got a hat on. Add a little bit of white in here. And maybe a little bit of shadow, orange and blue just underneath. Hair coming down, a little belt on her waist. And then we'll just add figures that are farther away, just little lines that get a little bit wider, the shoulders. Maybe we've got cars parked here. little blobby ovals. Maybe some snow on top of them. Got a little bit of blue and white here for shadows. And I'll just add a little bit of blue, little bits of blue and white in here. So it doesn't take too much detail to create figures. Okay, I'm gonna call this one done. I really enjoyed this one. This is something different. I've never painted anything like this before. I've painted a lot of lampposts, but not one like this. And I see these ones back in my old hometown a lot, so I have fond memories of growing up there as a kid, so I wanted to include this in this painting today. I hope that you guys have a wonderful holiday season, and I wish you nothing but the best health and happiness for the new year. Thanks so much for all of your support. You make this possible for me to bring you content on a weekly basis, and we're going on six years now, I think, here on YouTube and Patreon. So so much love to you guys and gratitude. I'll see you soon in another video. Bye for now.